Hey guys, Sos here doing an introduction to Vash on Ascended. So the first thing I can start with is that this fight is a very long fight. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. It's more like a marathon. So just staying calm, acting calm, just trying to make the whole fight without, yeah, by just being calm is really important. You can see here that on Ascended we have static. So static basically works the same as on Heroic. You also have aim shot. Aim shot is a little bit different on Ascended. Basically, if you are hit by the aim shot or part of spreading the damage dealt, then you also emit AoE around you. So usually we have 4 people in the beam taking care of it, and yeah, you can also disengage if you want some more room in the red laser so that you can minimize the AoE damage spread along players. Other than that, the fight is almost the same as on Heroic. The only added mechanic on Ascended in Phase 1 is Parasitic Shot. Parasitic Shot is basically a debuff placed on a random player, and 8 seconds later there will be 3 parasites. If these parasites hit players, then there will spawn 3 more, and they will get a debuff. And it's very easy to get the raid infected, so usually we have one player running away from the group, and then we AoE or cleave it down and try to kill them before they hit players. So that's basically the entire first phase. It's worth noting that we have 2 players with you can see here we have parasites in the raid, which is the worst case to happen, but we deal with it. So here you can see us dealing with the parasites, and this is the added mechanic on Ascended. So going into phase 2, it's basically a lot of ads. Usually what we do is that we kill 2 sets of warriors. So we basically keep the warriors alive, and then we kill them with the explosion after we activate the pillars. So the warrior adds enrage 5 seconds after the new elites are sent. So that way we only have to kill the first 2 elites, and then we just ignore them forward and kill them with the explosion from Vash after pillar explosion. There will also be healers. Healers heal a lot of HP. Vash has a very high amount of HP, so it's very important to interrupt them as fast as possible just to minimize the time in phase 3. Other than that, we need someone to kite the Hydra. Then we need 3 people designated to go for the core, and then everyone else basically on the elementals that give Vash damage increase. We also use Earthbind Totem, which basically slows the regular water elementals by 50%, which is really good because then you have twice as long time to deal damage to them. So here you can see I'm the middleman in this trade, so we just give it forward. And now we basically wait for the next Naga Elite to spawn. So here Knorrig gives me the core, and then I will just wait here as a healer, and then we will prepare to kill the elites. So you can see we have 2 elites alive right now, and when we activate it, the next wave will spawn really soon. So now they spawn, and we have the explosion, and they die. The added mechanic on Ascended is Sirens, so you can see that there are two players running to the east side on the map. I'm running over there to give them a heal, and then basically what's going to happen is that we're going to have a Siren at the water, basically grabbing the closest target. So it doesn't matter if you're 50 or 100 yards away, it will grab the closest target, and then we have one player that runs over there to help out. So since there are no elites currently, we have the tank basically getting grabbed in Siren, and then one of the DPSers going there to save him. And usually we have like a powered shield in the group and Holy Radiance. We just like hot and shield up that one player before he goes. Other than that, it's pretty much rinse and repeat for this phase. It's worth mentioning that the elites do have a cleave ability, which means that if any players would be relatively close to one of the tanks when they tank one of the elites or be in front of the ad itself, you pretty much will get one shot by the cleave. I can also mention that sometimes when you have the core, there is a duration on it, which I believe is 30 seconds. So when you give it to someone, it refreshes the duration, because one of the cores when you do the tainted, sometimes it might be like 45 seconds to the next set of elite spawn, and if you're too fast, then it might actually run out, which have happened quite a lot before for us. So you don't always need a hunter to kite a Hydra. Here you can see that we have actually have someone playing consecrated strikes, kiting the Hydra. So as long as you have a ranged ability and able to keep threat on the Hydra, then it should not be a problem for you to kite it. Although the Hydra slows quite a lot, which is can be a little bit difficult to deal with at times, but should be doable. So here you can see I just want to keep the DPS alive because the boss has chain lightning, which basically damage all the way down to the water. So just in case, I stick around and make sure he doesn't die. So this is the last tainted in second phase. So when we get this in, phase 3 will start. So the last core we always give to a tank. So here you can see the other tank basically taunted off the elites and basically tanking 2 of them just to reduce the amount of cleave at the pillar at activation time. It's just a lot safer. So here we go into third phase, so we just pop heroism, drums, all our CDs, and basically just go full ham at the boss before the Ascended mechanic kicks into place. So you can see here we have statics, we have spore bats, and also random pillar activations, just like on Heroic. Though on Ascended it does a little bit more damage and can feel a little more punishing. The added Ascended mechanic you should be able to see relatively soon. So here you can see Kale teleports into the fight and is talking. So he has basically come here to help Vash out. So this Ascended mechanic is not added into the fight before, or like it basically starts after the second pillar activation. So you will be able to see that after this explosion now, there will be a Phoenix spawning. So we basically have the whole group going to the left and then the tank pulling it to the right. So this can be very difficult. You can see there's a lot of damage on the hold rate. Basically, if you are within 15 yards of the Phoenix, it will deal 4,000 damage per 2 seconds. So it's 2,000 damage per second. If you get hit by anything else during that, it can be very, very difficult. It's also worth noting that you can see that the Phoenix explodes. The shield of the pillar, when it's activated, gives us a lot of AoE damage reduction. If we didn't have that, it would basically deal about 10 to 13,000 damage to everyone in 40 yards. So it's a really huge explosion that does a lot of damage when it dies. It's also very difficult when you go into the shield, because if we bring the Phoenix too fast to it, then there's a lot of damage when you are getting into the shield. So just make sure that you don't take a lot of damage from the pulsing damage from the Phoenix, and you shouldn't have too much problem staying alive. Generally, we go with 2 tanks in this run. So we have the tank basically taunting off each other. So the tank at the boss basically taunt off the Phoenix and so on. So yeah, so this is basically the fight on Ascended. It can be a little bit difficult to learn, but as long as you put in a little bit of time and help each other out, it should be possible to do Vash on Ascended. So thanks for watching, guys, and good luck with the fight in the future.